world of friggin' Warcraft, the game that's been around since 2004 and loved by millions of people around the world. A time when everybody wanted their own MMO and every company was scrabbling to build one. And millions of pounds and time and effort invested later, not many actually did that well, with the, World of Warcraft still taking the main seat of power today in 2018. But things have changed. The MMO series hasn't, done that well recently. We have other games like, we have PUBG and Minecraft and very other such of genres of game that have taken the seat, and bitten, and they are becoming the new games. MMOs, they're just not as popular as they used to be. So the main question to kind of ask is that, in a world surrounded by Fortnite, is there still a reason to play World of Warcraft in 2018? Number 1, teamwork. And I ain't talking about no low-level, 4-man Fortnite game here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about groups of 5, 10, 15, 20, up to 40 dudes in one group kicking ass. And lots of people, they push games based on teamwork. They say, hey, I'm playing this and it's good because you get to speak to people. Well, in real life, you're not in groups of 4. Generally, you're in a big-ass company with about 200 different people. And the more you kind of learn to understand that, you have to make sure people are playing to their best effectiveness and the best roles. That's precisely what World of Warcraft has. It has these roles which people play to what they're good at. And as a group leader and even being part of the team, you have to understand what people can do, where they're most effective. And that's where WoW is just so good, because you need the healers, you need tanks, you need DPS, and even the different sort of classes and roles have such a finer sort of tuning thing. There could be a boss or a monster which will require one person out of 40 to do his job right, and if he doesn't, much like a business, it could screw up your whole day. You ain't gonna end up doing that over and over and over. Number 2, money management. And like most MMOs, World of Warcraft has a in-game economy, like RuneScape, with the whole situation we used to buy things in Varrock and such, the Grand Exchange. WoW also has a similar sort of thing, which players they either get goods from monsters, they create the goods themselves using certain professions, and these all can be traded and sold due to supply and demand. And it teaches many sort of fundamental things about saving and business level decisions, in which players is like, okay, well maybe I could farm here to be able to afford certain things, and certain situations where, okay, there's a big ticket item such as a rideable mount, which is a lot of money in World of Warcraft, and it's kind of like a key sort of skill at some point, and you have to save a considerable amount of thing. You're like, well, how am I going to achieve that money? Many new games, they just don't have things like that to the level in which, if you don't acquire these sort of items, you are at a major disadvantage. So you have to think forward, you have to plan, maybe not this month, but in 3 months in advance at times, in order to acquire certain things, and it just adds an entire new depth to the game. And going up from there, number 3 is planning. Like we mentioned before, planning permeated throughout World of Warcraft, not only within money management, but also in the PvE and PvP realms. A guild would have to, they'd have to speak, they'd have to know who was coming on a certain Friday. When you've got a 40-man group, you really did have to know what was kind of going on. Plus, you had to, think about the tactics. Often you had to change the dynamic depending on who you have and who was there and all the items that were needed before you even got to a raid. A lot of the times there were things that were required that you'd have to do in the week, so that on Friday night, when the mounted doers are flowing, you were set to do the actual raid. Guys would go out and collect herbs and mine items and do all those sort of little things that are required. And this was the same within the PvP world as well. Maps were obviously very big at times, with a very large number of enemies that'd be running at you from various different angles, with a lot of the time the maps requiring different sort of stratagems to win. And overall, when you take into account gear, classes, and all the different sort of things going on within the game, it was a very complicated sort of a mess, and you had to kind of know what you're doing, which required a lot of forethought. And like I said, with other points, it just added to the levels of skills that was required. A lot of the time, if you knew how to fight a certain class, it gave you these advantages. And lastly, number 4 and number 5 being lore and community. And the reason I put these two things together is because of how integral they have been to World of Warcraft's success over the, the past whatever years we are still going on at this point. The lore in World of Warcraft is something that's stretched on like for so long, and it's so in depth. There's been books written on it. You've got the the RTS games that have built the source of it. There's every quest giver in the damn game just adds another little insight to the world itself. And it's they have the damn movie. It's just such a rich, vibrant universe, and there's so many different styles of characters in it. There's basically no other game on Earth, I think, with the amount of background this sort of has. And you can tell it kind of gets its sources from like Lord of the Rings and such, where everything has a family tree and it's described in a great detail. And that kind of passes on to the community. The community in World of Warcraft is such, you have to work together. And when you've got like raids of 40 man and the PvP and the castles are being under attack and such, you have guilds of 300 people, and people there. It's a game driven to push people together. It was one of the first MMOs, right? Multiplayer, and they crushed it on multiplayer. And together, you have the story that it wraps up the player in this world, and then you're forced into a guild with a bunch of other people you don't know throughout the entire world. It's just a crazy experience, and there's not many other games that do it to that level today. It is ridiculous. And that concludes our top 5 reasons why to play World of Warcraft in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for spending the time to watch this video. Make sure to leave a sub and a like. It'd be really, really super helpful. And check out the Discord if you've got the time. We've been playing a lot of WoW private servers for Classic in a minute, and really getting into those. So if you want to join us, just let me know. Thanks for being great. As always, this has been Un. I'll catch you on the flip side, and if you got any other, ideas that I should have included in the video, leave them in the comment description, because that would be super cool to hear from you. Catch you on the flip side. Bye!